The Clinical Assessment of Articulation and Phonology, or CAAP-2, is a norm reference tool designed for the assessment of English articulation and phonology by Wayne Secord and Joanne Donahue. Here are the publishers, address, and website where you can find the test to purchase. This is a complete list of costs for the tests. Description of tests. The target age is 2 years and 6 months to 11 years and 11 months, so toddlers to school-age children. It is the most current assessment for articulation and phonology. Time needed is 15 to 20 minutes. For administration, examiners should review all test materials and address any concerns before administering the test. The examiner may want to collect background information on the client and set up a convenient time to meet with the child's teacher or caretaker. The CAAP-2 should be administered in a well-lit room free of external distractions. Sit across from the client and face them and put the stimulus easel in front of the child. When ready to begin administering the test, there is an optional introductory story to read to the client. This story acts as a warm-up activity. The clinician may allow child to hold one of the CAAP characters. This should only be done under adult supervision. This warm-up story has been shown to be very useful with anxious children. To begin the assessment, ask the child to identify the picture on the page. Say, "What is this?" If the child does not respond or gives an incorrect response, say the provided prompt. It's important to note that you may fade verbal cues as desired. Continue this activity until all 44 words are said. Record each response on the record form on pages 2 and 3 of the articulation response form. If the child is less than 5, you may stop testing at plate 44, or you may move ahead to the phonological probes tab. For school-age sentences section, ask the child to repeat each sentence. The child will repeat 8 sentences. You may give them 2 repetitions. Continue until all sentences are covered. Record responses on page 4 of the articulation response form. For the administering phonological probes section, each plate has 2 to 4 pictures labeled A, B, C, or D. Point at each picture and ask, "What is this?" If the child does not correctly say the word, have the child repeat. Here is a demonstration video of administering the test.
What is this?
Duck.
What is this?
Shoe.
Now I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. The mouse works on math at the chalkboard.
The mouse works on math at the chalkboard.
The parrot paints the animal statue at the art table.
The parrot paints the animal statue at the art table.
Now let's look at some pictures you've already seen. There are a few pictures on each page. What is this?
Pig.
What is this?
Bed.
What is this?
Cage.
What is this?
A hive.
What is this?
Fish.
What is this?
Sheep.
What is this?
Cheese.
What is this?
A rake.
That's it. You will score each section of the test by writing check marks, dashes, or X marks in the boxes provided. Consonant singleton scoring is on page 2 of the articulation response form. Cluster words and multisyllabic scoring is on page 3 of the response form. For school-age sentences, you will write a check mark or slash in the boxes provided on page 4. To complete the phonological processes form, you will use the articulation form. Further explanation of scoring will be provided in a demonstration video. To score the articulation response form, you are going to start with the first word, use a check for a correct response, use a dash for a deleted sound, use an X mark for a phonetic distortion, and use the phonetic symbol for any substituted sound. You're going to put these marks under the letters in these boxes. For the multisyllabic words, you're going to make a slash through any deleted words, use a check minus X mark or phonetic symbol for targeted phonemes, and you're going to put these marks in these boxes. For school-age sentences, you are going to put a slash through words that contain sound errors or words that the child omits. If the child substitutes an indefinite article for a definite article
or vice versa, the article is still scored as correct. Place a check mark to the left of all correct sentences, which would be right here. Once you are done with this section, you will count all the errors for each sentence and put that sum right there. To fill out these boxes, you will count all of the errors from each section and put that sum right there. You will use Chapter 6 of the Examiner's Manual to get the standard scores, the confidence interval, percentile rank, and age equivalent. To complete the phonological process form, you are going to use the articulation response form that we just talked about to complete checklist 1. Once you are done checking all of these boxes, you'll return back to the first page and put the number of errors in those boxes. To complete checklist number 2, you will administer plates 46 through 69 and record any sound changes as they occur. This is recorded on pages 4 and 5 of the phonological process evaluation form. Once that is done, you will turn to the front page and mark in checklist 2. You will use Chapter 6 in the Examiner's Manual to find the standard score, lower and upper limits, and percentile rank for each age.
Some strengths of this test is that the story is optional, but it keeps the children's attention along with the phone pals included. The test assesses articulation and phonological processes, which allows the clinician to analyze them together and find the distinction. The test is very straightforward, which is good for children. There are many opportunities to get questions correct. This will allow the child not to feel pressured to get the answer incorrect. Children under 5 years of age can skip the sentence portion. Some weaknesses of this test is that including the story can be time-consuming. The test does not record the client's spontaneous speech if there is any, and younger children may have harder time remembering the longer sentences. And there are 2 separate final scores for both articulation inventory and phonological processes, which can be confusing.